everyone. It's me, Cadilac, aka OG Cadillac, aka Mother of the Decade, aka looks a decade younger than she really is. Welcome back to another exciting episode about Sarah Boone. This one is actually huge because today we were supposed to hear opening statements from, maybe not hear opening statements today, but the jury was supposed to begin being selected today. Okay, so I was very excited because I'm looking forward to the opening statements, right? I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited about opening statements. And it turns out that a certain Hurricane Milton has decided to mess up our schedule big time. All right, so Milton, according to this website, is over off the coast of Mexico, and according to this website, is traveling very quickly directly towards the state of Florida. Okay, look, boom, it's going to go, wow, it's going to tear through the state of Florida and move on its merry way. So that is directly in the line of Sarah Boone's trial, and in fact they're in Orlando, which is Orange County, and Orange County has been declared a disaster area already in advance of Hurricane Milton landing. Man, will Sarah Boone ever have a trial, y'all? I'm telling you, it is crazy. It's crazy. So according to Court TV, today, Sarah rejected a plea offer. That offer would have sent her to prison for 15 years if she pled guilty to manslaughter.
Ma'am, understanding the state's offer, do you wish to accept or reject the state's offer to resolve this case?
Reject. Now, my understanding of that is that at approximately 6 years, which would be about 2 years from now, she would be able to go and, apply for early release, that sort of thing. So she rejected that deal and is going to, in fact, go to a second-degree murder trial. And with the second-degree murder, it is a minimum of 22 and a half years in prison. So today they said, hey, if you want out before this hurricane gets here, we'll do 15 years manslaughter, 4 of which she's already served. And she said, nah. Okay. Now, why is she so incredibly confident? Well, I was watching our dear friend here, Bruce Rivers, the criminal lawyer, and he said that in Florida, the second-degree murder that she's been charged with is actually like a felony murder. And felony murder is something that if you're me and you're in law school and you're learning about it, you are in complete and utter shock. Okay, so here's what felony murder is. If a murder is committed during the committing of a felony, then you have felony murder. And the best example that is given is you have maybe a crew of 4 who are going to, rob a bank. 1 is the getaway driver, and then 3 are in the bank, right? Well, if one of the dudes in the bank shoots and takes the life of another, that is the charge of murder, then even the driver who's outside will be charged with felony murder because he was in the committance of the felony while this murder occurred. Okay, so what did Sarah do that was felonious? It is not a felony to zip someone in a suitcase. Weird as it is, it's not a felony. It is not a felony to get drunk. So if indeed they are trying to get her with felony murder, then she is smart to go for the trial because they ain't going to get it. It reminds me, and I feel like they do this in Florida so much, and I just think it's stupid. It reminds me of Casey Anthony. You remember the mom who killed her daughter? Probably killed her daughter. the reason she's walking the streets today is because they charged her with first-degree murder, and they didn't have the requisite evidence to meet their burden. And they didn't charge her with any lesser charges, right? And so because they didn't include, manslaughter and any potential reason to put her in jail, they just went for the big dog, and they didn't have all the evidence they needed to get her on the big dog. If this is true, if they have charged Sarah with felony murder, then the state of Florida has made the same mistake with Sarah Boone that they made with Casey Anthony. And if that is the case, then Sarah Boone is smart to reject the plea deal, because the state's not going to be able to meet their burden, just like Casey Anthony. Now, I read that second degree in Florida really just means that it's not premeditated, like you really didn't plan it out. You have to show that the defendant acted without regard to human life. I do believe that this prosecution is going to show that she had no regard for his life. And I think her videos of her laughing at George or Jorge show that she didn't have any regard for human life.
Sarah.
You.
Sarah.
Stupid. So there's different types of second degree murders in Florida. There's depraved mind. It's like a result of a dangerous act to another, displaying disregard of human life. I would kind of argue that maybe depraved mind would fit the Sarah Boone. Then there's accomplice, second degree felony murder. That's when what I just talked about, when you have like a robbery or something and someone's life is taken during the course of that. Okay, so that's two. Non-premeditated murder in the commission of felony. We don't have that here. So the statute itself says second degree murder is the unlawful killing of a human being when perpetrated by an act imminently dangerous to another and evincing a depraved mind regardless of human life, although without any premeditated design to affect the death of a particular individual. In my understanding of the facts here and the law, the way I just read it to you, she's second degree, no problem. She was reckless disregard of his life. He's begging her for help and she just leaves him in there. That's reckless disregard. Now, she's trash. She's completely drunk.
Reel around some. Might want to get video for it extra. Because I got this.
All right, so maybe she should have taken the plea. But we all know that she is not the type of person that is going to take a plea deal. We all know that she thinks she's the smartest in the room. And I believe that was very evident last week when her attorney did a suppression motion. He was trying to suppress the police examination at the cop shop. Apparently, Sarah was told, hey, come pick up your phone. And when she got there to pick up her phone, they were like, hey, come answer these questions. They did read her Miranda, but they forgot the 9th question of the Miranda card. And for some reason, even though that is the type of argument that does not require testimony, you should just be able to argue with each other, her lawyer, Sarah's lawyer, called her to the stand. And she made testimony on the record that contradicts versions of her story. So she is now on the record, meaning she is locked in, right? Like, this is now your truth. So if she testifies in her trial, everything said at that hearing can and will be used against her, period. And now the prosecuting attorneys, so long as they are safe, will now have this additional week to prepare for her trial and to get that record and decide where to use those words against her. It's not a smart idea for her to be up there testifying, but it really appears that since Sarah believes Sarah is the smartest in the room, Sarah is actually in charge of what's going on, as opposed to her attorneys, as it should be. So it's going to be very interesting depending on the strength and the veracity of that hurricane, they may not even come together next week. We will watch that carefully. And of course, I will update you if and when there are any updates. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you're hitting like and subscribe, and I appreciate you very much. We are covering Sarah Boone on Wednesdays, and every Friday at 10 a.m. we go live to discuss the YSL RICO trial in Fulton County, Georgia. Again, I'm Lauren Cadillac, aka OG Cadillac. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you again next time.